the College Football Playoff Committee got the green light from a group of, let's get this correct here, the group of all the FBS commissioners and the Notre Dame president were all Zooming.
Okay.
And agreed that the 12-team college football playoff format will have 5 teams, regardless of record, ranked 1 through 5 because they are all conference champions. They will be ranked 1 through 5, and then there's 7 at-large bids, and whoever's the lowest ranked of the 5 will not have a bye week. They'll be the ones as the 5 seed hosting the 12 seed, the lowest seeded at large. They're calling it 5 plus 7. It was 6 plus 6, but the Pac-12 kind of, what's the word for it, went kablooey. And
then who's the 5th conference now?
They're not naming it. It's kind of going to be whoever's the highest ranked of the mosh pit of the other, Conference USA, American Athletic Conference, Mountain West, Sun Belt, or Mid-At. So, because there's a chance that a champion of one of the 4 Power 4 conferences finishes ranked below the top champion from one of those. For instance, in 2021, Cincinnati was undefeated, but the ACC champion Pitt Panthers had 2 losses. In this case, Cincinnati will be ranked lower than the ACC champion.
I see.
So, as usual, they're kind of giving you a heads up to try and make it clear, but it's not completely
Somebody
clear.
might get screwed.
Because there's 4 buys, and then there's going to be a first round of 5 versus 12, 6 versus 11, and so on and so forth, while the top 4 seeds chill out. So, again, like I keep pointing out to my Ohio State friends, the Ohio State friends were like, hey, listen, our collective was on fire. We kept a whole bunch of players, and then we got a whole bunch of transfers, and we are coming to beat Michigan's ass this November. And I'm like, okay, if that's what you say, obviously, when toe meets ball, you'll be just as nervous as me, or I'll be less nervous because guess what? It's not going to be do or die. You know what? You don't think the second place or third place Big Ten team would be in the mix for one of these 7 at-large?
Totally.
And Washington State and Oregon State, the ones left behind for the Pac-12, they're the ones who were saying, hey, if we're not going to be potentially one of those teams, because congratulations, one of those 2 is going to win the Pac-2 next year, whatever they're calling it.
Pac-2.
But they're not going to be in the mix for one of these top seed. It was 6 and 6. So they decided they weren't going to be in the mix for one of the top 6.
Right.
So if they added an extra at-large bid, maybe that's the one that they can get. So they just, in their minds, by saying yes to this, improved their chances. And I'm sure Jay's point of view here is like, so, what are we doing on this whole front? When the 10 commissioners and Notre Dame's president get together, maybe you should be talking about all the stuff we just talked about with Jay. Because this stuff just shows you this is a professional sports league. 12 teams are making it.
Yeah. It's been unofficially a
and the regular season is being made less than, and I understand that's been a lot of people's points of view is how they used to love the BCS and the arguments back in the day because every week meant something. You had to be undefeated to have a shot. Yeah. But this is the way of the world right now. So, great. Ohio State snapping its 3-game losing streak to Michigan. Congrats, you get a bye. And I guess Michigan might get a home date in the Big House in the opening round against what? Like a 10 seed, an 11 seed, a 12 seed? That's the way of the world right now in college football. And Jay's point of view is like, hey, guess what? At some point, everyone's going to have a contract, and everyone's going to have a collectively bargained fee, and this is the way it's going to go. And if you want to transfer, there's a buyout clause, and some other team might not pay it. It's called professionalizing the system.
Long time coming.
How about him saying all the coaches that are complaining about the relationships are tough to have when kids are coming in a transfer portal or leaving in a transfer portal? And he's just like, you want relationships? Go coach in high school. I just love the way Jay just plainly puts it out there for people to understand. that this can be done today by the NCAA, and they're just holding on to the sense of amateurism, as he called it, which is dead. Anybody who wonders about amateurism, this is basically what, like a 16, potentially 17-game schedule for teams? Because they're not getting rid of conference championships. Those games are going to determine who gets a bye.
Right, and that's game 12 or 13
right.
in most cases.
And
in
in the Big Ten now, it's not going to be the winner of one of the lesser divisions getting a shot at some team that's undefeated like it's been in the last few years. It's going to be the top two teams. Michigan could play Ohio State, the Ohio State. The loser winds up just being the away team in the conference championship game the following week. And even that game isn't an elimination game because the loser just has to play a game the next week and the winner goes on a bye.
So you could play each other maybe 3 times in a season?
Yeah. Just by the way, where have you heard that before? The NFL.
Right.
That's Jay's point. This conversation was being had while we were talking about professionalizing the sport with Jay. Man, talk about crystallizing a point. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.